Hey, what's going on, everybody? Kyle Metzger here, back in the garage on a Saturday. I know we're supposed to be fishing, but we're watching fishing on the TV. We got some important things to do in the garage, and that is we are going to install our brand new WattCycle batteries. Maybe you've heard of them on the internet right now. They're taking the internet by storm. It's a phenomenal battery, lots of power, holding up, surpassing the big names in the market. I've been excited to get these in the boat. I'm going to show you the install video. I got the Phoenix cleaned up this morning. We got the wiener dog out here helping out. So I'm gonna show you everything you get in the box and show you when we get on the water. All right, so we just opened up our cranking battery, got it out of the box. Look at that thing, nice and clean. We had our user manual in there, everything you need, QR codes to scan. Got our business card with the warranty on it. Again, good QR code. Look at this, one-handed, 100 amp hour lithium going right back there to power that bad boy right there. And that's crazy. One-handed lithium power coming at you. So we're gonna get that installed first. So we got our battery box installed. It's all the same battery boxes I already had. Big key is make sure you have your strap in there beforehand. I actually had it strapped so I know the correct position. And then I undo it, and then boom, I know now that my strap's gonna be perfect. Didn't get in any of the way of the screws. So we open that up and we are ready to receive our new cranking battery. We got our battery here. Again, super light, one-handed. We're gonna feed this down in here. And just like that, it goes into place. It doesn't get much easier than that. Nice and secure. They even put a groove hole on top of the battery so the strap just fits perfectly in there. So we'll get it nice and strapped in, get our wires hooked up. We'll go through here, down here. And that's it. We already got our cranking battery installed. Cool. All right, next thing to unbox here, of course, is our big, bad battery charger. Look at that, 1210 by 4, 10 amps, gonna get you nice and charged up. We got all our buttons down there. Of course, our operating manual, super secure shipping. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Yep. All of our wires nice and organized. Look at that, spare fuses. We'll get our foam off of here. And look at that. We've got all the codes right there. So you'll know, you don't have to go searching for your owner's manual. I've had that happen at tournaments. I'll get a code and I don't know what it is. I'll have to Google it or something. But right here, we got standby, we got our faults, we got charge, full charge. So everything's nice and neat on there. Again, we'll get that back in there and yeah, hook all the wires up. All right, so we got the charger out right here, nice and clean, like we just showed you coming out of the box. To get it, show y'all, to get it perfectly on that back wall on the Phoenix here, the easiest way to do this, and this is awesome because see how the holes are on top and the bottom? A lot of chargers, they put them on the sides, and man, if you're doing this alone, it does make it very difficult. So what I want to show you is we're going to take some tape here, measure that out, and what I'm going to do is get that as straight on that line right there, and you can go from the top or the bottom, and I'm going to press those indents in. So now I can come back and mark exactly in the middle of those indents where I want my screws to be. So now I'll take this off, I'll put it right back in there, and I can drill my first couple holes, and then I can start my screws, and when I start my screws I can actually just set the charger on those screws, and then I can put the top screws in, and it makes it super easy. Like I said, some of them put it on the sides, makes it a little difficult if you're by yourself, but that tape trick is going to be the best. I know some people use it in their houses, hanging pictures, but 100% that's the best trick you can do for getting these hard spaces. So had to go to the store, get some more screws. That's about the only thing you would need is maybe just a couple extra screws. Of course, stainless steel. Our tape trick, show that we were talking about worked perfect. We got our 3 pilot holes drilled, so we're gonna get those vacuumed out and get our charger installed. Let's go. Little tip, a lot of boats have tight spaces. To get this last screw in there, what I need to do, I take a little piece of tape and I'm actually going to feed that on the end right there and just tape that on there, and now that's not going to fall off and end up in my bilge. Here in Louisiana, summertime again, getting these batteries in. Next one we got up, right, our 12,800 amp hour. I've never had a battery this big. Again, smart edition. We got our registration right there. Everything comes in the box. You got, again, just really high quality stainless steel hardware. And I ordered this in from them off their website. It's the wiring harness. Sometimes wiring the 36 volt system can be a little confusing. That takes all the guesswork out of it. So I'll show you how to get that hooked up. We'll get our 3 battery trays in there and I'll show you the next step. All right, so one little thing I like to do is I like to put rubber underneath my batteries, just for nothing more than a little piece of security. And what I do is I go to just a real cheap store and I'll get a doormat, and look, that fits in there perfect, and that's just an extra little padding between the battery and that hard plastic for $5 or $10, and then I'll chop it up from the store and put it under the battery and it works perfect. Just a little, again, just a little rubber protection because it is sitting on hard plastic in there. So we'll get all 3 of those cut and finish putting in the batteries. We got our battery boxes all nice and clean in there. We're gonna undo all these battery charger wires just to kind of get them out of the way for now. So let's drop them in and see what it looks like. All right, so we're finishing up here. We've got all 3 of our trolling motor batteries nice and clean. We've got our big house battery, our cranking battery, and look at all that extra space. We have a ton of space. We took a lot of very big batteries out. I know we got a lot of boxes right now. So in that extra space, look at this gem. 12 volt, 50 amp hour. This is gonna be my designated live scope battery. I'm really excited for that because I haven't had a designated one. I had it on a dual system. We're gonna get no interruptions, crystal clear imaging, and look how small this thing is. 8 inches by 5.5 inches with a designated charger in there. That's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. What I did do though, I went to local store and I grabbed this little gem. I'm gonna make the perfect little battery box out of that. So again, this thing is so light. It's gonna be perfect. I can't wait. I'm gonna show you the install on this next. All right, let's get this guy into its new home down here. Just like that. We'll get it clipped in. Perfect. Not going anywhere with that little mount. All right, time to wire it up. We have number 4 from our charger. They already pre-label all that for you. It's really nice. And they give you 2 different sizes of hardware. So I'm actually going to use the taller of the 2 and try and get this down in here. It's a little bit of a squeeze because I have so much stuff, but yep, first try. We'll get that tightened down, but also very cool, they give you a little cap so you can cap that off. If you can see there, they give you that little cap. All right, let's get the negative on. right, so we talked about it before. We got the wiring harness. Now we're actually going to install it. It'll make sense once it's all installed. This is basically the one that connects everything with all the wires, so we'll install that last and we'll do all the singles first, and it'll make sense once we hook it up. Again, so we're hooking up our wiring harness. We got all of our individual leads hooked up. Now I just have to hook up the actual harness to the trolling motor leads, and I'm just really impressed. They put really good hardware on there, and they actually put heat shrink fittings. So all I have to do is crimp the power going to the trolling motor in there and heat shrink it down. That's really nice. So we'll finish that up and I'll get you the end result. So this wiring harness, I don't know how many people change batteries a lot and you're always this positive, that negative, positive. I can't stress enough, this thing is magic. So again, we've got our negative to our trolling motor battery on the main harness, and we've got our positive to our trolling motor battery on the other harness, and literally we're just going to plug and play. It goes one hand snapped, our center one right here, and it's doing all the, it takes all the thinking out, all the you know, back in the day you used to draw the picture and you'd have your positive, your negative, and then we got smartphones, so then we took pictures of all of it. Let me just get this hooked up real quick here. And just like that. So now, this takes all the guesswork. We got our positive going into here. That's going to our positive here. Our negative comes out into the next positive, right? And then we got our negative going into here. That's our jumper cord going back to your last positive, and then your negative going to negative. That's as easy as it gets. And what's really cool, if I wanted to, they actually put the leads for each charger, and I could charge it that way. I chose to just leave the stock one on there, the stock wire, and put it underneath. And it looks a little chaotic, but we're going to get all this zip tied up, and that's the easiest I've ever done. And I've done lots and lots and lots of trolling motor batteries, so I highly recommend that harness right there. It takes all the guesswork, especially if you're not too sure about batteries and you don't want to mess anything up. So all we gotta do is hit that breaker right there and go test trolling motor. Cleaned up, perfect install. Let's give it a go. We are live. Let's test our trolling motor. Got our secret lures on there, and we're gonna give that a power push. And look at that, we got power. Perfect, first try. That's awesome. You know, you never know until it's hooked up. I trust all the wires, but again, that's a perfect clean install, as easy as it gets. That wire harness is fantastic. So we'll get everything else hooked up over here on our electronics battery. I'll show you one other little cool thing. So all this hardware they give you, this nice stainless, again, you're always worried about dropping a washer in the bilge. They made it so they won't come off. I don't even know how they did that, but there's no dropped hardware in the bilge. So that's kind of cool. All right, so clean install. We got our wires cleaned up. We got our charger charging down there. It will charge multiple things, multiple batteries if you did choose to not go all lithiums. The first one, the LFP setting, is the one it should be on. You can see it's charging, and when we load up the app, we've got, it's kind of hard to see, but we've got all of our batteries right there. We can click on it with Bluetooth. Let's see if we can get that. There we go. And we can see all the parameters, the temperatures. This battery's at 43%, and it's got a 6.5 hour charge time. That's perfect. We'll click on the next battery up here, and we're at 44%. It's still charging. Again, they don't send them fully charged just for safety reasons. We got our temperature there, 90 degrees. Yep, feels like 100, and all of our information. So that's a really cool app, just a nice feature. I'm actually going to go through and label. You can edit the names right there. So I'm going to edit and say, you know, battery I think I have it 4, 3, 2, 1 with the charger. That way I know which battery is charging on there, and they're all nice and labeled. So it's a really cool feature. Again, let's walk around here. Garage is a mess, but we've turned on our main power. That means the engine should fire. Again, I'm not an electrician, but I'm pretty good at wiring, and their instructions made it super easy. So let's do a test. I always go small. All right, so the trim's working. Our power comes on. And do we have live action? We're just gonna do a quick. We got power. That's as good as it gets right there. Awesome. That means everything's working. We did it. WattCycle. Again, the instructions are super helpful. All their hardware is super high quality. This silver button too, I just learned looking through everything, is a jump start button. So for some reason I do run that down. I can hit that jump start button and it'll fire me back up. So again, I'm just really excited to try these this year. I've heard nothing but good things about them. Super easy install, very clean, as you can see. I'll give you an on the water update and let's go test them. I'm super excited.